Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into a devotional called God's Relentless Love in Hosea.
Yeah, and the main passage is Hosea chapter 1, going into the start of chapter 2.
And it hits you right away, verse 1.2. God tells Hosea, go marry a promiscuous woman and have children with her.
Whoa!
For like an adulterous wife, this land is guilty of unfaithfulness to the Lord.
It really, crows you right into this intense situation. The devotional calls it a love story, but one full of betrayal, heartbreak, wandering hearts.
Definitely not your typical romance, but the core idea, the devotional says, is a love that doesn't give up.
Right. This powerful analogy. God as the faithful husband and his people, Israel, as the unfaithful bride.
So our mission here is to really try and understand this deep, persistent love of God shown in Hosea and what that actually means for you personally.
Okay, so let's jump into the first main idea from the devotional. God's love actually pursues those who might seem, unlovable.
That command to Hosea, marry Gomer, knowing she'll break his heart. It's meant to be a living, breathing symbol, isn't it?
Exactly. It mirrors how Israel kept turning away from God. Hosea's marriage becomes this stark illustration of God's love for his often unfaithful people.
And a key point the devotional stresses is that this love isn't something we earn. It's not about our performance or, how good we are.
Not at all. It's kind of profound when you think about it. God sees the failures. He sees when we mess up, but his response is still commitment. It's still compassion.
That really flips the script on thinking God's love is conditional.
It does, and this connects right to you, the listener. The devotional encourages you not to get stuck, defined by past mistakes, because it says God's love reaches deeper.
It also pushes us a bit, suggesting we reflect that same kind of patient, forgiving love, maybe show grace to someone in our lives who stumbled.
It's a challenge. And the takeaway is just so powerful. Even when you're at your worst, God doesn't walk away. Holding on to that truth, that's huge.
Okay, let's shift to the second lesson. The devotional points out that even God's warnings, which can sound pretty harsh, are actually filled with hope.
Yeah, those names for Hosea's kids, Jezreel, Lo-Ruhamah, Lo-Ami, they sound like judgment, right? Scattered, not loved, not my people.
Pretty bleak names.
There are. They're meant as harsh reminders of judgment, like the devotional says. But crucially, they were also meant to awaken Israel.
So the discipline isn't just punishment for punishment's sake.
No, that's the point. It's intended to draw people back, not to reject them forever. There's this constant tension between God's justice and his mercy.
So the devotional frames these warnings more like urgent invitations. Come back before it's too late, driven by love, not just anger.
Exactly. And that has implications for us. When you feel that conviction, that nudge from God, the advice is, don't harden your heart.
Instead, come back to God. Use those moments maybe for humility, not for beating yourself up.
Right. And it's not just about us individually. It encourages us to support others who feel far from God, reminding them he still calls them his.
Even in tough times, the devotional says, try to look for grace. Trust that God is always working towards restoration.
It's about seeing even difficult moments through that lens of potential restoration. God is always working.
The devotional wraps up with a prayer, basically thanking God for a love we don't deserve and asking for help to see his grace, even in correction, and to love others with that same kind of relentless love.
And that leads to the one-word summary. God never gives up. His love always pursues. Simple, but profound.
So as we finish up, here's something to think about. That relentless nature of God's love. How does knowing that kind of love exists maybe fuel your own perseverance?
And how might you reflect that same tenacity, that same commitment, that not giving up spirit towards the people and the things that matter most to you? Something to carry with you.